Okay, let's go in our post-race for the 30th Annual Dollar General 300 Miles of Courage. Our race runner-up, Kyle Busch. He drives the number 18 Z-Line Designs Toyota. Kyle, talk about your race out there here this evening.
It was really good on long runs, slow on short runs. Didn't have enough under the hood to keep up. Got outmotored on that last restart, finished second.
Any questions in here for Kyle Busch? Raise your hand. We got a couple of wireless mics. Questions for Kyle? Anyone? Questions in the press box for Kyle Busch? Anything upstairs, Scott?
Stand by, Kerry. We're checking. Kerry, we do have a question. Stand by.
Okay.
Mike Hembry, Speed.com. Kyle, the audio cut in kind of late on your statement there. You mentioned the motor over the last couple laps. Was that what got you?
Got outmotored. Didn't have enough under the hood. Unfortunately, the Toyotas don't have enough horsepower.
Our race winner is Carl Edwards. He drives the number 60 Fastenal Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. He's joined by his crew chief, Mike Beam, and team owner, Jack Roush. Congratulations to the number 60 team. This is Carl's 37th career NASCAR Nationwide Series win. That ties him with Kevin Harvick for third all-time in series history. Only two drivers, Mark Martin and Kyle Busch, have won more races in the NASCAR Nationwide Series to date. This is his 8th win in the series in 2011, his second NASCAR Nationwide Series win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the number 60 team now trails the number 18 team by just 3 points in the 2011 Owners' Points Championship in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Carl, congratulations. Just a super effort there on the part of the 60 team and on that restart. Talk about the victory here this evening.
Well, the night started out pretty poorly due to my running into the wall, but I like to think that those were all Fastenal parts that were on the car, so they didn't break. That was good. We fought back from that. Mike did a really good job of convincing me everything was going to be okay, and it was. And then that last restart, if Trevor hadn't given me that push across the down into turn one, if he hadn't tucked in behind us and put us out there in front, I think we would have had a really hard time holding Kyle off on the top. So just a really, really good team effort. The car is the best it had been all night at the end, and that's what we need to win. And just really, really happy we got it done. We got a lot of folks from Fastenal here. We got a big photo shoot coming up on Monday, and it'll be a good time. So just glad we won this race.
Congratulations, Carl, and crew chief Mike Beam. Talk about the effort of the crew tonight in getting the car ready and prepared, and then also on pit road.
Well, those guys, they do a great job. We've been together a little bit over a year now, and it's just we won't give up. And luckily Carl, he's the same way, and Jack is, and just once we saw the damage was, it flattened the right side out, but luckily it hadn't totally configured the car where we couldn't work on it there, and we tried to seal up the crush panels, and luckily the toe was not too bad, but it kind of fixed what we were fighting, so we got lucky there, and and so Carl, he just drove his guts out there, and luckily we won the race.
Thank you, Mike. And team owner Jack Roush, another big win for the number 60 team here this evening, and just talk about the performance out there this evening in the number 60 Fastenal Ford.
I think I'm going to lose my mind here. We put all the engineering in the cars, and we got all the manufacturing quality variants to make sure that we can make them the same. And Carl wrecked his car today, and the car decided that it wouldn't give up. So I'm going to talk to that car. I may give that car a kiss tonight before I go to bed. But that car had heart. It was bent, and it was aerodynamically not sound, and it was mechanically not intact, and it stood up under Carl and carried him to a victory. So Mike thought about trying to repair the toe end, but it seemed like that it was running pretty good, and we Mike and I agree that that we think maybe this towing business that we've got on the Goodyear tires maybe is not where we need to be now. And so anyway, this was a look at yesteryear as far as the alignment's concerned, more like what we had 5 or 10 years ago. The car liked it, and congratulations.
Questions now for Carl, Mike, or Jack. Raise your hand, please. Front row right here.
Tom Jensen, Speed.com, for anybody who wants to answer it. I don't want to take anything away from your victory tonight, but Carl, you've had a lot of good fortune the last couple of weeks, last week at Kansas, tonight. This sort of stuff isn't supposed to happen. Is this indicative to you that maybe it's your year, or is it the kind of thing that makes you superstitious when you have a lot of good luck thinking it's going to end soon?
Yeah, it's like a roulette wheel. It just because it goes one way one time doesn't mean it's going to go the other way the next time. And we've had our share of bad luck over the years, and I don't think that this means anything for the future. I'm just grateful for the way things went tonight. They went really well in the Cup race last week, and at the end of the day, we probably we didn't really. If things would have gone normally, if Brad hadn't got that flat tire and spun out down there and caused a caution, and if Trevor hadn't been behind us on the restart, all those things, we wouldn't have won the race. But all you can do in racing is put yourself in a position to win, and if circumstances work out right, you can win. So, but no, I don't feel like I'm owed anything, or I surely don't take our good fortune for granted.
Go ahead, Pete.
Pete Iacobelli, Associated Press. Carl, could you tell right away that maybe the car wasn't acting like a car that hits the wall should act, that maybe you had a chance to kind of move up and continue?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how fast it was after it hit the fence. I slowed down for a lap or two just to kind of make sure nothing was going to fall off, and then it got back going, and it was fast. So, it's pretty impressive that we could run into the wall that hard and still the car would still go. We came down and put tires on it, fixed the body a little bit as best they could, and it was screaming fast. So, track position was really important though, and it did take us pretty much the entire race to get back up there to the front. And I had one bad restart where I got shuffled back, and then luckily the restarts went well there at the end.
Other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, Hill Overton, WIXC Radio. Before that last pit stop that you got to make because of the caution, how was your fuel? Would you have been able to have made it if you'd not gotten that pit stop, or would it have been really close?
No, it wouldn't have even been close. We would have had to stop probably about 10 to go. So we were just going to go as hard as we could, and nobody was going to make it. So we was going to probably stop there in about 2.5 seconds of fuel, something like that. That was the plan. I know Jack and Scott Gray's our engineer, they pretty much had the same number. So we knew what we needed to do.
3 gallons short.
Yeah, 3 gallons short. So, we knew what we needed to do. It wasn't no use to mess around with it and just go as hard as we could. And, we have a pretty, our pit crew is pretty awesome. And Darren Beach, our gas man, he really stressed that, if it comes down to 2 or 3 second stops, what we're going to do. And, he practices that sometimes. And so, it just worked out for us.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. This is for Mike. I know the technical inspection process with this deal is pretty strict, so I imagine having a flattened right side is probably not within the specs that they let you have. But when you get this back to the shop, will you take measurements off this car since it's bounced off the wall and kind of change that toe to possibly implement that for future as long as it'll fit within the templates? Yes,
Monday's car will be, scrutinized, as far as, the toe in and exactly if it knocked the house and back or, exactly what it did do, for Texas or Homestead. We was fortunate we won Texas in the spring, so, and this car here will go to Homestead. So, it's we'll definitely take the information and, let Scott, our engineer, just run it through the computer there and calculate exactly what was going on there and, and see exactly, kind of what road we need to go down, especially with this tire here.
Other questions downstairs? Anybody upstairs in the press box have a question?
Mike Hembry from Speed.com. Carl, on the last restart, was it a situation there, you think, where whoever got out in front was going to win the race? If Kyle had gotten around there and taken the lead into turn one, could you have gotten back around him?
I don't know if I'd have been able to get back around him. I did have a lot of speed in the car there, though, the previous run. I planned on having to pass him those last few laps. I did not plan on getting out in front down into turn one. So my plan was to go on the attack and have to pass him. And I felt like we had a shot at it, but you never know. So it was very, very fortunate that we ended up in front. That made it a lot easier.
Any other questions in the press box? One more. Go ahead.
Hi, Carl. Genevieve with Skirts and Scuffs. This year you've done really well in Nationwide with winning 8 races, and you haven't won much in the Cup Series. How has running in Nationwide, how can it help you with tomorrow and maybe leading till the end of the season?
I think that the biggest thing running the Nationwide Series helps me with is there are a lot of mistakes you can make in a race car. Tonight I made at least one or two. Running into the walls, usually doesn't work out that well for you. So that was a good reminder for tomorrow. Sometimes I'll speed on pit road, or I'll do something silly in the Nationwide race, and sometimes it kind of it gets me a little focused for the Cup race. But the main reason I run the Nationwide Series is because Jack and everyone at Fastenal and Ford, they give me these cars that are a blast to drive. Mike is fun to work with. I've got a great group of guys, and it's just fun. And it's a great training ground for pit crew members and for sponsors like Fastenal. They're gonna move up with us to the Cup Series next year. So it is, in general, just a fun way to spend your Friday or Saturday. And there's no place I'd rather be right now.
Any other questions downstairs? Tom?
I just have a quick one. Jack, Kyle Busch came in here and he said that the reason he lost is that the Toyotas have a horsepower deficiency against the Fords and they got outmotored. We used to have these debates all the time before the regulations got so tight. Do you think everybody's on a very level playing field across the manufacturers?
We've all got the same parameters. We all got the same deck height and all got the same camshaft dimensions and valve sizes. And the Ford was disadvantaged in those things for years until we got the FR9 going last year. And so he certainly doesn't have the advantage, or the Toyotas don't have the advantage that they had over the Fords before. I don't think that it'd be a travesty, I think, if we'd, on top of all the money that we're spending on the 2013 car and the fuel injection and on top the fueling apparatus we've got for the fuel cells and the fuel dump cans, if we spent money on building another engine that we don't need. If Toyota got another engine, then Chevrolet would be due one, and Dodge would be due one, and Ford would have to do one as well. And right now there's no reason to change the engines. They've all got the same parameters, and it's a matter of what carburetor jets you put in and how much ignition timing you put to it.
Yeah, I sit in these race cars every week, twice a week, and been doing it for a long time, and we do not have a horsepower advantage. That is those are political statements that people make to try to get us back where we were for years, just like Jack said, at a disadvantage. But right now we have the same engine, as close as I've ever seen it from the driver's seat. I still think that there's one manufacturer that has a little more engine than us in the Nationwide Series, and maybe in the Cup Series. But from the Toyota side, they're combining with TRD, the Gibbs folks are, to make their engines better next year. And there's no reason to give any on the parameters. I believe that the engines are as close as they've been.
Okay, congratulations to the number 60 team, Carl Edwards, Mike Beam, and Jack Roush. And Carl, good luck here tomorrow night in the Bank of America 500. Jack, same to you.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys.